I chose accounting, honestly, because I was like, oh, recruiting will be easy.
And it was. Hello, clowns.
I'm Ummi.
I'm Yu Chen, and we're the hosts of Clown Vibes Podcast.
We're just two best friends who get together to laugh and discuss a variety of topics.
From all things pop culture to navigating through adulthood as Asian Americans and more with our very own clown spin, of course.
We're so glad to have you here to clown around with us, and we really hope you enjoy the episode.
Hey, clowns. Welcome back
Hello.
to another episode of Clown Vibes. I think this is actually our 10th episode. Is it?
No, it's our 12th.
What? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Can you believe we've recorded 12 episodes of us just talking about random shit?
I can and I can't. Like, I truly love doing this, but it's so funny that we're doing it. Every time I'm just like, I gotta record today.
Yes, I mean, we were just talking about this, but I wish it was our full-time job.
100%. Tell all of your friends to listen to us so that we can quit our day jobs and this can be our job.
Yes,
I would love to do those podcast live shows. You know what I mean? Like that everyone's been doing.
What? What are you talking about?
Like, you know how a bunch of like really popular podcasts will do like city
like
tours?
teams? Yeah.
Yeah. And like the celebrity memoir book club one just came to Dallas last week. I almost
Ooh,
went, but I was
fun.
just too tired. Yeah,
Life's exhausting.
very.
Okay, on to some clown news for the week. The Gwyneth Paltrow like ski trial just really came out of nowhere.
Fully came
Like,
out of nowhere.
There was no warning, and now it's just like fully
Everywhere.
out there. It's like that's what everyone is talking about it. But like we should get a warning sign next time.
Yeah, like I was just doing my normal TikTok scroll, seeing 70,000 Hunger Game videos, and then all of a sudden this trial pops up where the lawyer is asking Gwyneth Paltrow like really weird questions about like who she is close friends with. And I was like, why is this lady on trial now? Like, what's going on?
The whole like all the cross examinations of Gwyneth Paltrow is just so clownish, like the
So
types of
clown.
questions that they ask. And I feel like Gwyneth Paltrow is just like also not really taking it seriously either. She's like, you can just tell she's an actress. She's like, oh, I love your shoes. Like she's definitely pandering to like the audience, to the lawyer. The lawyer that's like cross-examining her is also weirdly obsessed with her. Like they're just
She's eating it
giving
up.
each other compliments. Like I think she's just a bit starstruck, to be honest. I mean, we all would be.
My like favorite Gwyneth Paltrow thing of all time is like when she's doing that like cooking video or something with the guy from Iron Man. And he was like, yeah, remember
Robert
when we
Downey
did
Jr.
Spider? No, not Robert Downey Jr., the other guy. Stinky or something. Stinky.
What? Stinky?
Stewie or something. You know, in Spider-Man, like he's Iron Man's proxy that monitors Spider-Man and like helps him, and he's dating Aunt
Oh, yeah.
Gwen. What's his aunt's name? Whatever.
His like, yeah.
Let me look it up. Okay, anyways, she's like doing a cooking video with this guy who is also in the Marvel universe, and he just casually is like, yeah, remember when we were filming Spider-Man? And she's like, I've never been in Spider-Man in my whole life.
Yes, she has.
And he was like, we filmed some of it together. But later came out and she was like, honestly, I filmed so much random shit for Marvel. I don't know what
she does.
Like, honestly, that's fair.
But yeah, like my favorite part about all of this is how like this guy is suing her for like a lot of money, but she's basically countersuing him for like $1
plus attorney's fees.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Expensive. Yeah.
But the whole like dollar thing, I think she's just doing it because she feels like she has to. Like she wants to sue him so badly, but she knows that it's gonna look bad if she actually sues him for like the actual amount that she would be owed. And so she like pulled this from Taylor's like playbook, and it's just like it's symbolic, but like symbolic of what? Taylor's was symbolic, but for hers, it's just like really LOL.
Yeah, I think Gwen is just like, I don't need this money, but fuck you. Basically,
Exactly. Fuck
what's
you.
happening is like this guy said that she ran into him on a ski slope, and Gwyneth Paltrow saying, "No, you actually ran into me." This happened 3 years ago. No
Uh-huh.
one has evidence, real evidence of this. Like, I think the guy who's
There's a
suing her,
GoPro video, but
but
it
they can't
hasn't been
find it.
released. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, there's nothing.
He said that like she skied into him from above and she was like, he was actually behind me. And I felt like I was getting sexually harassed. And I was
Yeah.
just like, how did we not know the direction in which the collide happened?
Also, she said that they were on a green, which how could it have caused so much damage on a green? Like, that's the easiest.
Oh my gosh,
I
I'm
don't
going
know.
skiing this weekend and now I'm scared.
Now you'll know. No, you'll be fine. The green is chill.
So, yes, we will be tuning into the results, but so far, the entire trial is clownish.
The entire trial is just like a TikTok meme, like one after the other.
An explosion of TikTok memes, and we will
Yeah.
be participating.
Oh, for sure. Now I'm glad that I know the backstory so that I can fully laugh at the videos and be like, yeah, that was funny, instead of just being like, what the fuck is happening?
All right, for our main topic today, I remember seeing the headline of this Wall Street Journal article, and it says, "Why so many accountants are quitting?" And I just thought we would be the perfect or adjacent perfect podcast co hosts to talk about this topic because we
Mhm.
are pretty like connected to the accounting world.
Yes. I would say very connected. We are very qualified to speak on this. We, in some capacity, left accounting.
What is your background and how are you related to accounting?
Okay, well, for those who don't know, me and Yu went to Macombs School of Business at the University of Texas at Austin. And we did the MPA program. Basically, we studied accounting. You have to do a master's year to sit for the dumb CPA, which is like the license you need for accounting. So everyone has to do a fifth year. We both sat for the CPA, but there's a work requirement. So Yuchen never got her CPA. I did.
This is like the dumbest move I've ever done. Like, if you could list like top 5 dumbest things I've done in life so far, like that is up there.
Yeah. Studying for no reason. And like the CPA test is not enjoyable. You take
No.
4 tests, they're like long. It's annoying to study for, like whatever. And I went to the big 4 accounting firms after, did accounting adjacent work at my first job, did pretty much accounting work at my second job.
Mhm.
And you went to consulting and skipped
Yeah.
accounting altogether, which is why you never got your license.
We both knew that like very formal accounting roles was just not for
Yeah,
us. We learned that very quickly. And I'm really glad that we did
for
because this is
sure.
something that like I'm sure a lot of people are realizing now. And
Yeah.
that is why we're seeing the quote at like 300,000 or mass exodus out of accounting.
Yeah. And we were really lucky. Like, we got to do, me and Yushin actually met at our Deloitte internship,
Yes.
summer internship between our sophomore and junior year. We didn't even really do any work, but we knew it was not for us. We did like an audit and you did tax. I think I did like advisory. Like,
Yeah. I learned nothing.
yeah, we always spent the whole summer just pinging each other and asking our senior when we could leave.
I think the origin of us like choosing accounting is really interesting because I don't know about you, but I feel like me growing up in an Asian American household, like accounting isn't really a career that's talked about or like
Yeah.
given much thought of. It's always like law school or medical school. And I
Or
was like one of the
engineering.
only, yeah, I was one of the only Asians in like my vicinity of like ages to
Mhm.
even go into business. And when you
Interesting.
go into like McCombs, you're a business major. Like you don't pick which major yet. You're just unclassified business or undecided business.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah. And then like for our specific program, you have to apply, I think, in your
Mhm.
second year. Is it your second or third year? Your third year, I
Second
think.
year. You
Oh,
second year
really?
and you start your third year.
Right. But the one thing that I think is just like so clownish is how our business school just really pushes the major for no
Mm-hmm.
reason, but like I know kind of know the reason.
Tell us the tea.
Okay, well, I mean, it's not confirmed. This is my hypothesis, but
Okay.
I think it all comes down to like money and
Oh, for sure.
capitalism.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I was gonna say too. It's that, and we keep getting ranked the number one accounting program.
Yeah.
So they use that as like a tactic. And I went into business because I didn't want to do STEM and I didn't want to, I don't know what my other options are, but my dad was like, you're not smart enough to do computer science, which rude. And I could have. He was like, just do business. And I chose accounting, honestly, because I was like, oh, recruiting will be easy.
And it was.
And it
You weren't
was.
wrong.
I wasn't wrong. It served my purpose. Like, that's truly, and I liked my accounting classes. Like, I like the study
Yeah.
of accounting, but the working aspect of it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I will say like McComb's culture, business school culture in itself could just be an entire episode.
Oh, for
But
sure.
the thing is that the way that our business school was created was like they make all these like clubs to center around these like majors. And then they also bring in people from Deloitte, people
Mm-hmm.
from PwC, and like they make all these like company sponsored event look so prestigious. So like from the
Mm-hmm.
get-go, you probably don't even know what Deloitte or PwC is, but at the end of your like first or second week, you so like clearly know what those like companies
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And they're always like the biggest sponsors for like the biggest events, always have like the flashy events too. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like naturally you just think of those like companies as the most prestigious. And of course, McCombs is all about prestige for some reason.
Yeah. They like shove big four and consulting down your throat so hard. And then they'll say, like, they'll like whisper on the side, there are other options, but going to the firms is the best.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember, you know how I used to work at the MPA program
Mm-hmm.
office? So I
Which
used to work
MPA is the accounting program we were in.
So I used to work in like the accounting master's program office, and our like head of the program would take calls and like meetings with the big four all the time to strategize on like recruitment. And so there's just a lot of relationship building and
For sure.
networking involved. We get like huge donations all the time from these big four programs, which like makes our program much better and
Mm-hmm.
nicer, I guess, than other programs. Like we have definitely just a lot more resources, but it's definitely just like so shoved down your throat that it's almost
Mm-hmm.
cultish. Like you're kind
It's
of
very
brainwashed.
cultish. Yeah, you're extremely brainwashed. So I think both of our junior and senior years, we had to do this like seminar class where each week they would just bring in like different types of panels to talk to you. And probably, let's say the class like 15 weeks, 14 weeks was the big four and probably Accenture. And then there was like 1 week of like industry people.
Yeah, 1 week. And like industry is
Yeah,
so broad. I bet
so
these like
broad.
I bet the industry associates are just living their best lives and they just don't have time for
Truly.
this.
Yeah. And like McCombs doesn't ask them because they want to promote the big four so that they continue to get money from them.
It's all
Uh,
just a capitalist
it gives
scam.
me the ick and it makes me annoyed thinking about it.
Yeah.
God, I'm pissed now.
Okay, so within our program, we went through this like really quote unquote intensive interview process that like we have a class that like preps us for this. But essentially, like you kind of apply to like any of the programs for an internship, and then like you get interviews. And once you get an interview, you're pretty much set. Like these interviews are so
They're a joke.
easy. It's pretty much like, what do you like to do?
Yeah, it's full culture fit. And I think like for the most part, you always get an interview. Like you're just applying to every firm or like whatever firm you think is cool. And if you apply to audit or tax, like you're pretty much gonna get it.
From the company's point of view, it's all just a numbers game. Like
Yeah.
they have people leaving all the time. They need fresh new faces to just do the physical work, like the
Mm-hmm.
physical work on the computer. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
they just need more people. So they're really not going to turn away anyone unless you're just a
Yeah,
big red walking red flag, which for most of the case, you're not.
you're not. Yeah. And like anyone can learn this on the job. The more interesting accounting stuff, you're not doing until much later anyway.
Mhm.
So they basically just bank on the fact that like as a staff, you're, in audit, I don't have any tax knowledge of like how that actually works, but in audit, you're just looking at what they did last year and making a copy of the file and just redoing it. Like it's not difficult.
And being true to the name of the podcast, there are so many clown vibe moments in the recruiting process. First of all, why does every company have a Top Golf event? A Top Golf
We went
or
to so
bowling
much
event?
Top Golf. Yeah. In Austin, there's only so much you could do, especially when we were at school. It wasn't as big as Austin is right now. And some people are recruiting for 4 out of 4 firms. You're going to 4 events a week, and there's not a lot of variety. Like each firm is just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I remember the people who were recruiting for multiple firms and they just like went to every single event.
Yeah.
And they were always so busy. But the thing is like these events have big ass budgets
Huge.
just to like make sure that you have fun. Like this is almost just like a frat party, but corporate style. Like
Yeah.
you're essentially rushing for different firms and they have drinks, they have food, they have events, and they fly people in from like different offices. Like if you're recruiting for New York or LA, they'll literally fly people in from those cities just to talk to you.
Hmm.
And you know how like for Greek like they have people that are designated as people specific to talk to you, like they're
Uh-huh.
your like tag to talk to them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like they've tagged certain people to like talk to you and woo
Interesting.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, from like the different cities, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're not even recruiting for them. Like they're just trying
exactly.
to like get you. While those things it's fun to like have a free nice meal and it's fun to like get your nails done. You're paying with your time and your energy.
Yeah.
And I am really glad that at the end of the day, I really only went to 2 firms
Oh yeah.
events because I cut everyone else immediately and I was like, I can't talk to you guys. This is too much for me.
And once you get the offer, the clown vibes still don't like
No,
stop.
there's no rest for the clowns.
I just remember like my friends getting texts from
Yes.
associates at these big
They
fours and
hound
like,
the shit out of you.
yes, there's no like privacy. They're asking the girls to like get their nails done and get pedicures. They're literally trying to like buy your
Hmm.
life essentially for the next few years because you are a workhorse when you join.
Yeah, man. And the recruiters are relentless.
They
You'll like
are.
ask for more time and they'll try to like bully you into signing. And I'm really glad. So after our internship that we had together, they gave us an offer. And it took me a long time to get them to extend it. Like I would call them every other day and have to really be like, I'm just a baby. I can't make a decision like this right now. And I'm glad I never gave up and just signed because
I would have
it,
given up.
it's a scam. Yeah, no, I was like really annoyed at the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get another job. Like, if you're not accepting it, I'm not accepting.
Okay, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of working in accounting, more specifically the big four. What is like the biggest pro?
I think you do find a lot of like-minded people, and some of my closest friends I've met working at the Big Four that I still
Yeah.
like talk to today, like still hang out with today. You are really trauma bonded in such a deep way that it does really create good friendships.
It gives you the opportunity to basically like move to any city you want
Hmm.
right outside of college because most of these
Yeah.
big fours like have extensive programs and sit in like almost every city,
That's a good point.
even abroad. And if you want to work abroad, they do have like programs that kind of feed into a London office, although a lot of companies have it. And so the
Yeah.
fact that they use this as like a marketing
A
tactic, I'm just
tactic.
like,
Yeah.
it gives me the ick.
Mm. Yeah.
But I like the fact that I could have easily moved to New York or
Hmm.
California without having to like find a specific open role for that now.
Yeah.
Another thing is like you kind of start like to your point, you start with like a start class.
Hmm.
And you do like make friends through it.
Yeah.
Everyone's roughly the same age, come from like similar-ish backgrounds. So it's not like a start class of like 5 people unless your program is like very small. You, even though your program is small, you still have
Yeah.
like access to a larger start class. And like the
Yeah.
budgets are so big at these firms that there's plenty to do.
And you're
Like
seeing
there's
these people
happy
all the
hours all the
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the people on your team you're seeing for 10 hours, 12 hours a day, like even more during busy season. Like you are with these people all of your waking hours, pretty much. So, especially like when we started, when you weren't working from home, you were going to the office every day. When you go to industry, you're not going to have so many same age people around you. And so, in that aspect, it is like a fun place to start.
Okay, what are the cons? Because there's so many.
There's literally so many. I think like biggest con is your salary per hour is minuscule. Like you are extremely, extremely overworked and they do not pay you well.
No. I remember when we were recruiting at the time, because obviously like salaries have gone up, but when we were
Yeah.
recruiting for Houston or something, audit salaries were like $60,000.
Yeah. And I know people who start at 55, like
Crazy.
crazy. And back then it's like inflation wasn't as high, whatever, but it doesn't matter. Like in audit, in your busy season, which is like January to maybe March, you're working 80-hour weeks,
If not more.
if not more. And like cruel to pay you so little and then expect you to work so much. And they say, like, oh, we cover your meals when you're working this much, like whatever. But I can work 40 hours and cover my own meals. Like, leave
Yeah.
me alone.
It's really like not worth it.
No. And I think a lot of people are like, well, investment bankers work that much. But investment banking, like you're making the money.
You're making the money. And I also just think the skills that you gain from investment banking, like your exit
Yeah.
opportunities are much higher than accounting.
Totally, totally. And in accounting, they're like, oh, you have to basically like earn your higher salary. Like we're starting you low because you can make a lot more later. But it's like, not really.
Same with
Not for
every.
a really long time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the same with a lot of like career paths. It's not specific
Yeah.
to accounting. In the article, they quoted that a New York salary range was 70 to $80,000, which is still lower than like what my starting salary was.
Yeah. Outside of the big four,
Yeah.
which is a big ass scam. Man, there's so many cons. Like you have no control of your time. You're pretty much always expected to be available.
Hmm.
They used to really promote traveling and sell it as such a cool experience. And I personally never really wanted to travel anyway.
No, me neither.
And the group I joined, they didn't really travel that much. So I was like, great. Like I'll travel every once in a while and it'll be fine. And the first like big project I'm on, I traveled 7 months. Traveling is not fun. It takes up your whole life.
Yeah, it's just like a big time suck. I mean, I guess it like works well if you are living at home
Yeah.
and you're not paying rent. And so it's just like extra money in your pocket. But the thing is that like I would feel stressed about like not progressing in my life because I'm
Yeah.
away from like my home center so much.
Exactly. Even when I got back, I used to just be so tired. Like I didn't really make any friends while I was traveling. I would come home, tell myself if I did one social thing with one friend, that was like enough, and I could spend the rest of the weekend in bed.
Well, that's how I operate now.
Yeah.
Okay, but with like remote working, I just feel like all these perks that used to be actually the only perks of working
Hmm.
in Big Four is just like does
Gone.
no longer exist anymore, which is why we're probably seeing a lot more people leave accounting.
For
And
sure.
the thing is like people have been complaining about the whole like busy season saga for years and years. But the thing
Forever.
is like there's no way to fix it. There's just absolutely no way to fix it because of stuff outside of Big Four's
Yeah, it's like the
control, to be
government.
honest.
It's
Yeah.
the SEC's like filing deadlines. Accounting is such a thankless job. Everyone shits on you. Like you are hated by the client. Not hated, but like you did the client dislikes you. You're working crazy hours. Even at the companies, you're working really crazy hours, and everyone's like always mad.
It's like you're the, what did our accounting professor call it? Like the government's bulldog or the government's watchdog.
Watchdog. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sick. No one
It's
wants to be that.
essentially, yeah, it's essentially like you're the ref of a soccer game or at the like World Cup. Like no one likes you. You're no one's
Yeah.
hero. Everyone
Yeah.
hates you.
Oh my God. And
And you're not
like,
getting enough.
yeah, and it's honestly like the silliest job. Everything in accounting, the stuff I've seen slip by is just like no one's financials are right.
No one's. I guess it's like
No.
impossible to get it right.
But like there's just like negligence left and right, honestly.
Yeah.
I seniored in audit, having never done an audit in my life. And I was so explicit, mostly because I did not want to be on the audit. And I was like, I've never done an audit. How can you guys do this to me? Like, I haven't even really done that much accounting work. And they were like, yeah, it's fine. You just have to review. And I was like, yeah, but
Isn't the
that's
whole purpose of
psychotic.
having someone who knows audit to review the audit?
Yeah. And even though I didn't really know, I would like look at old work papers and be like, well, this is wrong. And then I would tell whoever, and they'd just be like, just ignore it. Luckily, I
Immaterial.
was auditing a private company, so I was like, whatever, stay. Like, I don't give a shit anyway, stakes are low, but at least I wasn't like on some big public client where they were just fucking things up left and right.
I mean, we never had any like scary stories on audit, to be honest, because we were interns doing nothing,
Yeah, yeah,
which is a
yeah.
whole nother like story. But I remember seeing this TikTok post about this girl, and she didn't say she was in accounting, but it's so obvious that she is.
Yeah.
But she was like, I would have to Slack or I would have to ping people that I was taking a shower at like
Oh, I
2
saw that.
a.m.
Yeah.
But it's like, I believe it. I
Oh,
100 believe
100%.
she had to do that.
100%. And I think they just wear you down so much that after a busy season, you're like too tired to look for a new job. Then by the
Yeah.
time you're ready to look for a new job, you're already like prepping for the next busy season, then it looks bad. They really bully you into saying like it's really bad form to leave anywhere around busy season when at the end of the day they could fire you during a busy season too. Like you owe these companies nothing, but they bully you so hard and they make it seem like they have the power to like cut you off and it's like so bad for your relationships. I think realistically, like I keep in touch with pretty much only my friends from the big
They're
four, and
too,
I don't really have like that many connections I would ever really even use.
but also like if you wanted to actually go back to Big Four, you totally could. Like
Yeah, I could
they're
go
just too
tomorrow.
desperate for people. It's like a perpetual issue where I remember talking to one of our mutual friends who's still in accounting
Mm-hmm.
at a Big Four, and she's, I think, up for manager this year. But it's like, she's like, the quality of the candidates have really gone down, and it's just like added more work onto
Yeah,
everyone, and they just can never get enough people to support the audit. So you just inherently just take on more responsibilities than you ever sign up for. And it's just like a never ending circle.
for sure. And like you don't get compensated well, so like the real talent has more options and like is looking elsewhere. And because you're never gonna get fired, you can just literally do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're rewarded for being an average or low performer, honestly.
I just feel like one of the reasons why our friend is like still in Big Four is just she doesn't have time to
Exactly. Look,
interview.
yeah, look for a new
And
job. They wear
also,
you
like,
down so hard.
it takes honestly a lot of brain power and time to prep for any interview. So
Yeah.
if you're like looking to just switch out of accounting, that takes a lot of prep, right?
Yeah. It takes a lot of prep. It takes a lot of like, you have to over explain yourself, I feel like, in order to move out of accounting. And everyone's like, well, why are you doing this? It's It's like, well, this fucking sucks. You know why I'm doing it. I shouldn't have to explain to you.
You know, the biggest hoes are those who go back to like our schools to
Oh,
recruit
yeah.
because I know you're lying through your teeth.
I did that one time. Remember, I did that so that we could get gas for free or something for all.
Just for gas. We were so clownish back
And
then.
the
I would have paid
hotel,
for it.
and the hotel. Yeah. We got like enough for free or something that I was like, this is worth it. But I felt like really bad there. And nothing I said was like a lie, but I was already very unhappy. And it just felt weird. And then like a month later, after this like girl that I was talking to there got an offer, she wanted to talk to me on the phone. I was on vacation. My manager texted me and was like, you need to talk to this girl today. And I was like, okay, I'm out of office, but sure, I guess. And she was just like asking me all these questions. I wasn't lying, but I was like, this is not the best job. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, would I do it again? I don't know. Probably not. But I am here and it's not terrible, but it's not good. Like,
Did she end up signing?
she did end up signing and she left really early.
Good for her.
So, yeah, I think I told her, like, honestly, by the time you have your internship, God knows if I'll be here. And I wasn't. And that was my like honest moment for
You were
her.
truthful.
I was truthful.
Another clownish thing is just that the way that they bribe you to stay at the company when you get to a certain level. What is the level that's like so understaffed? Is it senior?
Yeah.
Like basically you're like 2 to 3 in. You're not a newbie. You know some stuff, but like you're not making a shit ton of money yet. That's
No.
like incentivizing you to stay. And especially during COVID, when people were like so over the
Mhm.
shit, I saw some like crazy dollars quoted for retention bonuses.
Yeah, like really crazy. And like for those of you who don't know, their retention bonuses were basically like, we'll give you X amount if you stay. We'll give you it now. You have to stay for whatever amount of time, like 2 or 3 years. And then if you don't stay, you have to pay back. And it's like a number that, is meaningful to you, especially when you're
Mm-hmm.
not like making what you feel like you deserve anyway. And it just kind of always makes you think in the back of your mind, like when you're leaving, like, is it worth it to leave this? And I would just like to say, yes, it is.
Okay, but remember when one of your friends actually left, but like
Oh
took the
yeah,
retention bonus and they
you have
made
to pay it
him pay
back.
it back?
Yeah.
They gave him like a 1 week window to pay it
Yeah, they
back.
were really savage about it. When I got promoted at EY, they had this for everyone. Like anyone getting to senior gets like back then it was 5K, or you could bank it until you're a manager, which there was like 3 years until manager for 20K. I immediately said no
Oh
to the
my
banking.
gosh.
I said no because I was like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna be here until manager.
That is just such like a, what is it? Like almost like a Squid Game-esque like
Yes.
decision making that you had to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who was doing this? I only know one person who did it. He's there, so he did get it
He's
back.
still doing it.
But it's just such a scare tactic and cruel. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. It's gross. You're asking like young adults to make this decision when they're seeing like big dollar signs, and it's hard to think long term in those moments. And in those moments, like they give you these options when things are not bad, when you're not that busy, and when
Mhm.
you've had enough time to recover from the last busy season. And when you always look back and see like the better parts of things. You never really look back and see like so much of the bad. So in the moment, you're like, okay, that wasn't horrible. I like made it through it. I can make it through like X amount more. Mm.
No,
But is
you
it worth
can't.
it? Yeah, like it's not, it's really not worth it.
All right. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who maybe did like, who dabbled in accounting, did like a year in accounting, or is like just graduating from accounting, or has been in accounting for 4 or 5 years and wants to switch, what would you tell them?
Literally anyone. I would say figure out like what you want to do instead and just apply relentlessly. Don't give up. At some point, someone's going to give you a chance. It's a numbers game.
It really is. And like, it's not like we're shitting on Big Four and
No.
accounting.
Yeah.
We're shitting on the fact that it's been in like society, at least like academia in the past few years as like this holy grail
Hmm.
option that you go into post graduation. And it's really not.
Yeah. Like there are great things about it. If what it is like interests you, that's amazing. And it is honestly a great stopgap if you don't know what you want, right? Like you're gonna for sure get this job. Just fuck around until you figure it out.
I wish I fucked around more.
I know, me too. Me too. And I wish they were just more honest at school how it was gonna be. I think that's like the biggest thing I'm like irked about. I think they made it seem like way cooler. And like all those people who came to talk to us like made it seem like way better than it actually is. No one was really telling us the truth. And simply had you told me like you're not going to be doing anything real for years at a time, I would not have picked accounting.
I think our program office would not have enough staff and support to
Yeah.
help people figure out what to do next then.
Yeah. It is the easiest option. It's the option with no obstacles. It's why I chose it. It's why I was like, fuck recruiting. I'm going to pick the easiest thing and I'll figure it out. And I did, but I did cause myself some suffering.
Now we're in roles with lots of obstacles.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. You can follow us on all social media at Clown Vibes Podcast or email us at clownvibespodcast@gmail.com.
And if you enjoy our show and want to support us, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating and review. That's it for today. Bye,
Bye,
clowns.
clowns.